I just made soups fricadelle. I was inspired by my sister-in-law. I saw her make a meatball soup and I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm gonna make that for dinner tonight. So thank you for the inspiration. So first up, I heated up my pot and I'm adding avocado oil to it. I have one whole medium onion that I'm gonna put in here. You can chop it up or slice it, whatever you prefer. Let it cook until it's a little bit transparent, so just a couple minutes. I let it cook for literally 2 minutes. Now I'm gonna add in about this much salt and 2 bay leaves. If you know, you know. These are Lior's famous giant bay leaves. So if your bay leaves are smaller, you can put in 3 or 4. I lowered the heat to a small flame simmer. I covered it and I'm gonna let it cook in there for about 10 minutes. I let the onion cook down for about 10 minutes. Now I have 4 small carrots that I cut into round pieces. I'm gonna add it in. I'm gonna turn the flame back up. Just give it a little bit of a mix on a high flame. And now I'm gonna lower the flame back down to a simmer and cover it and let this cook for another 10 minutes. While all my veggies are cooking, I prepped the meatballs. So I took 1.5 pounds of meat and I added 1 onion, 3 garlic cloves, 1 egg, salt and pepper. By the way, I didn't chop up the onion and the garlic. I just threw it into the food processor and blended it in there and then blended it into the ground beef. And then I make mini little meatballs for the soup. Also, while I'm making the soup, the first thing I do is I take 3 tablespoons of rice, wash it, and then I let it sit in water until I add it into the soup. Let that cook covered for about 10 minutes. Now I'm gonna add 2 bottles of water on a high heat, by the way. I turn the heat up to high. And now I'm gonna let this cook on a high heat and bring the water to a boil. The water came to a boil, and now I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of rice. I washed the rice and let it soak while I was cooking. Now I'm gonna let it cook on a medium heat just for a few minutes. The soup has come to a boil. Now I'm gonna add the meatballs. So I use ground beef. A lot of people like ground turkey or ground chicken, but we prefer ground beef. Okay, the meatballs are floating to the top, which means that they're basically cooked. Now I'm gonna add chicken soup seasoning. You can use whichever one you like. I'm using this awesome one. So I'm gonna add 2 spoons like this. And then I'm gonna add 1 spoon of Italian seasoning, about that much. So I mixed that in, I lowered the flame. And now I'm gonna add 5 garlic cloves, which I also pulsed in the food processor, and turn it off. And I'm just gonna let it sit like this, open, uncovered, for another 5-10 minutes, and it'll be ready to be eaten. Just try it for salt to make sure that it's salty enough. But I don't cover it with a lid after because I don't want the rice to overcook. And I also add salt at the end because chicken soup seasoning has a tendency to be salty, so I don't want to oversalt it. And that's it, it's ready. Just remember that I always eat it with lemon. So I serve it with a lot of lemon and then whatever other garnishes you like.